Yeah, quite spectacular.
Yep.
Part of the reason they've shuffled the events for the day.
Yes.
And keep the little girls off the water till later on in the day. So, wise move, because it can be tricky out there today. Very tricky.
Yep. Okay, so we're coming into round 2, heat 3 of the Open Men, as you can see on screen. North Stain Neds, Avoca Beach Z Crew, North Narrabeen Smokos, and North Narrabeen B Crew. Going to be a hit out.
Always good when you get 2 crews from the same club in one race.
It's rivalry.
There is
Bring
rivalry.
it out.
Yes. It's good. It's always good to have a hit out against your training partners.
Yep. Absolutely.
Very much a different day today.
Oh, incredibly. And we're at about high tide here, so there's absolutely no sand on the beach now. It's extremely tight. We've actually had a bit of an incident occur in the south area, just a few boats running into each other. Really challenging. So Avoca on screen, as you can see, these boys are actually returning. So they've had a couple of years off, but they've come back together. Not so sure about how they're going to come, if they're going to try their best, but if they'll place or not. But I think they're quite late into the season, but it's awesome to see them back on the water nonetheless.
If they're returning, they'll have history, so they'll know how each other thinks.
Oh, they're all best mates too, so...
There you go. It's a recipe. It's always a successful recipe to start with there, so...
Yes, they do have a different sweep though, so we'll see how that...
Richard Bridie's boys from a couple of years ago, is it?
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, they were hot back then, so it'll just be a matter of fitness, and it won't take long for them to get their timing together.
Yeah, so they're with Mitchell Matthew now, and I believe that he actually has a fair few crews as opposed to just having their own single sweep.
Oh, yep.
So that always does change the dynamic of things, because there's other crews to think about, and it can be very challenging. Jump start there.
A little bit sloppy.
Maybe it's just practice needs to come back in.
Yep, and they're going to cop one on the snout. There they go, under a bit of white water. And alley one just got filled.
North Stain Neds.
The Neds got filled on the shoreline, and away they go. So we've got Avoca Beach, though. They did get touched there on their way out cleanly. North Narrabeen, the Smokos, they got filled as well. You can see the pumps working there, spitting the water out on the side of the boat. But the B crew, they had a much better start, and they're going.
Yep, absolutely. You can see on screen North Stain finally bringing it back together, holding form. Really challenging in alley one, as you can see. They have a lot more.
Oh, the bowman! Did you see that?
Out.
Oh, like a dead seal, flung out of the boat, splashed on the bow. There he is, swimming. So he caught a crab and he got catapulted out of the boat. Feet come out of the boat.
Good seal back in.
There we go. He's
nice.
back in. Quick scramble. Quick 20-metre swim. Got his oar back. Luckily, they're not in the break zone.
No, very fortunate.
But they still got to get going now. So get that boat up to speed. He's probably feeling a bit fresher after a little swim, just to cool down.
Got to wake up. So Avoca, bottom of screen, they're doing really well with their lead, just keeping it controlled, nice and together. North Narrabeen, B Crew, also giving them a bit of a run for their money. It's going to be a tight race coming home for these boys. They're about to come into the gate can, you'll be able to see a bit more clearly where they're all sitting, but Avoca is definitely in the lead at this stage.
You can see how much the bow is bouncing too. I think Tash was talking about that earlier.
Yes.
There's no smooth sailing like yesterday. The boat will be bouncing up and down. It's harder for the bowman while you're in the air, but they'll also be anticipating where they're going to catch the water, how they're going to put the blade in the water, and then think about how they're going to apply the pressure.
Yep, coming into the turn, keeping it nice and tight at this stage.
So away on the third stroke from Avoca.
That's probably one of the better turns that we've actually seen today. We've seen a lot of crews come in quite wide.
It's windy.
It is very windy, but as you can see by the Narrabeen Smokos, getting a bit caught up there as well.
And so that left a hole for Narrabeen B to come from third place. Now all of a sudden, no, they're not. I'm reading that wrong.
Smokos.
The Smokos.
Yep.
The Smokos have had the better turn there.
Yep.
Made up ground there in second place now from third.
No, it's going to be very tight. The rivalry is going to be strong in this race coming home.
We could have a Narrabeen party wave shortly.
Ooh.
So you can see the sweep there, looking over his shoulder, looking for something to get motivated about, see what's happening, make a decision early to whether to push for it or like Bateman's Bay earlier, sit and let it go. But they're running this nicely,
strong, really strong.
Smooth, in control. He's looking over his shoulder still. They're falling off the back of this one.
But there's one coming up behind too.
This looks, both the Narrabeen crews, I think, there you go, look at that. One's on it.
Yep.
We can't tell which crew that is, but they're both on it. All three crews are going to be on this wave.
So it's going to catch up on Avoca. This depends.
Oh, the B crew are off. The wave's fattened up.
Yep, the Narrabeen Smokers, Bowman are both getting up as much as possible.
They've dropped off.
Avoca staying in their seats are able to keep rowing, so that's such an advantage if we're able to do that.
Now they've fallen off it.
So it's going to be really heavy. Narrabeen B crew might be able to sneak up from the back and catch onto the Smokos.
Just working through the gutter there. There's a big hole coming in. They'll be at the beach in a second.
Yep. So
very close there at the end.
Absolutely. So they might have had a bit of a shuffle, but I think the Smokos got ahead of Narrabeen B crew.
Yes.
I believe.
Because it's North St Ned's, here they are. We've almost forgot they were in the race. Something's going. No, have a look at something's going on, but he's looking backwards. The sweep is spending a lot of time looking backwards. At the back of the boat, he hasn't looked forward once to see where they're going. They're backing it up. There's the reason. There's a little bit of white water around them. They're making sure they don't get pumped.
No, so they're going to try and catch this one now. It is building very heavily, as you can see on screen behind. Challenging, you don't want to get hit up the bum bite, but it seems to have softened off. Just have to make sure they can ride it as much as possible.
And they're off the back of that. So they're just going to row it home. Hopefully nothing's going to catch them from behind, because it is a tricky edge. And it's all of a sudden... Look at that. That's not ideal.
No. It went in relatively straight.
Relatively straight. Now
across the line, yes.
So you can see at the top of the screen, all the boats are packed on the sand there. And there's the sand dunes. There's absolutely no room to have boats on the beach.
What would you call that swimming technique?
Well, similar to mine.
Floundering?
Rubbish.
So how do you go through with your, beach run and,
Oh, look, I ace it. I wait till they're not watching and say that I've done it.
So we're going to go to Aaron now for a beach interview.
Yeah, we continue to have exciting racing down here.